I'm Julia Ortiz, and this is your Cape Connections update. Here are all the highlights from this week's top stories on Lower Cape TV. The Eastham turnip is not your average veggie. It's actually a symbol of the town's agricultural legacy. But who has really kept this tradition alive? Well, the Turnip Man, and we learn all about his story.
He would spend 7 days a week, all day out there.
He loved it.
Yeah,
It was
a passion.
Yeah, labor of love.
Yeah, and he wanted to keep the Eastham turnip alive.
Yeah.
You know, for Eastham.
And by then he had such a following that he'd be in trouble if he didn't turn up.
Right.
I mean, just so many people would call. Are they ready yet? We're going to get them. You always had to make sure you had
enough seed in case your crop didn't do well or your seed turnips didn't keep over the winter. Or then once you planted them in the spring to get the seed if they didn't take. So you always had to plan ahead in case it didn't take.
Here on this?
Yeah. Isn't that a sign or something?
Art Nix.
Oh, it does say it, okay.
World renowned. World renowned Eastham turnips.
I wonder where that was.
Our father was outstanding in his field.
Massachusetts is buzzing with legislation efforts for psychedelics in therapy. But how will this new marketplace be structured? We talked with Jim Davis from Bay Stater's Natural Medicine about the recent legislative initiatives.
So psilocybin mushrooms are naturally occurring fungi that humans have used for over 10,000 years across the globe. In the United States, they're the most studied pharmacological compound in history, with thousands of studies on their use, both for therapeutic and spiritual reasons, as well as neurological conditions, having been published before their criminalization in 1971. They're relatively safe. The Lancet, for its part, rates them as the safest controlled substance out there. And the evidence here is overwhelming. There was a study in the Journal of Psychopharmacology that was a meta-analysis of the last 20 years of controlled trials with psilocybin. And in those double-blind trials, they found statistically significant benefits for depression, PTSD, and anxiety linked to both terminal illness and autism. And that's why we believe that decriminalizing, simply ending that stigma, ending that threat of arrest, in the case of psilocybin, almost amounts to legalization because it will be so easy to obtain. Any type of testing regime or, heavy-handed rules won't work. And the victims in the interim will be people who are charged tens of thousands of dollars for expensive trainings with the promise that they'll become a licensed facilitator when people will just be doing this with someone they trust. The victims will be our commonwealth.
Harwich's old firehouse is rising from the ashes. The Harwich Fire Association and Conservation Trust are teaming up to restore the historic building and the Coldbrook Preserve Bog. Affordable housing, community events, and a gleaming 1928 fire truck are just part of the vision. Take a look.
This property that we're standing on and this building that we're standing in had been owned by the town of Harwich for nearly 100 years and was the site of the town's first firehouse. It also happens to be at the gateway to Harwich Conservation Trust's Coldbrook Preserve. And both nonprofits, the Harwich Fire Association and Harwich Conservation Trust, had a keen interest in this particular location in the heart of Harwich Port. Harwich Fire Association wanted to see this building's historic architecture restored and bring new life into this original firehouse. Harwich Conservation Trust wanted to see a brand new and inviting parking and wheelchair accessible trailhead for the larger preserve. that is the Robert F. Smith Colebrook Preserve.
And to stay up to date with all the latest, be sure to subscribe to our newsletter by scanning this QR code right here, or catch up with us on social media. We'll be there on Instagram, Facebook, and X, and of course, the LCTV app. And thanks to our underwriters who help make Cape Connections possible, including Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority. We're going your way. To all our neighbors on the Cape, whether you are watching from here or anywhere, thanks for watching Cape Connections. Have a great weekend.